Hopefulness 2.0, April 19th. I didn't do a damn thing yesterday after I finished video. In fact, I want to say about maybe an hour after I recorded it, I just went to sleep. Not for long, a couple hours. Turn on AC. Woke up, didn't really do anything. Got on a request, kind of screwed around for a little bit. Helped a couple people out. Browsed the internet, jerked off a couple times. Back to sleep. Couldn't really sleep well because I didn't brush my teeth. That's whatever. It's funny, my buddy's like, hey, trust the process. Like, if this is the process, I'm not fond of it. I didn't get any feedback. The fact that I have to basically push the process in order for anything to get done. Because I'm trying to, like, it's one of those situations where you got to figure out what your next several months is going to be. That's like, if you take a couple of steps in the wrong direction, again, if you're gambling, just fuck everything up. I'm trying not to spend any money. I'm trying not to do anything. I'm trying to find a fucking job because that's the only thing that's gonna be able to keep me doing anything. And finding a fucking job is a huge pain in the ass. I've never been good at it. Usually I get the interview and then I get the job. Yeah, I was just too angry yesterday. Too upset. Too helpless to try to do anything. I mean, yeah, I could have done my laundry, but I had zero intent to do it. Today I'm going to attempt to make some cinnamon rolls. And I might make the next batch of frosting for it. Because the best time to have, to put frosting on a cinnamon roll is when it's still warm, but not hot. So it's probably a good idea to make the frosting first. Which means you gotta brown the butter. I gotta dump all the, this, that, and the other into everything. And look into the instructions for that. But I can't even make it now that I think about it. Because I don't have the 2 blocks of Philly cream cheese. I have no cream cheese whatsoever. So can't make the frosting. Could make the pastry cream potentially. I'll have to look into that. I might have the ingredients for that because it's basically just butter and eggs and oh wait, I don't have any milk, so I can't do that. I was thinking, I never did, of putting heavy cream in the blender and seeing if throwing the blender on for a bit and turn it into whipped cream. I don't know. I mean, shit. Right now, I don't care enough. I'm just gonna drink a little bit because I've done it before. And it's really good. Oh yeah, I guess I should pull out my pasta sauce. I got a piece of butter too, so I can throw that in there. Buttered noodles and sauce. I'm not gonna throw the butter in there now, of course. I'm gonna do it after the noodles are cooked. So, yeah, I don't even know what the hell I'm gonna do today. Try to apply for some more jobs, I suppose. Can't make meatloaf because I don't have any milk, which is part of the recipe. I could probably put something else in it. I suppose I could use maybe the coconut milk, I guess. I don't know. Attempt that. That's not a whole lot. I had even just now, very much right now, had considered maybe using coconut milk for the pastry cream, but I don't know how that would work. Might. It definitely tastes different, that's for sure. Might even taste good, who knows? I was tired. Psychiatrist says take meds, as soon as possible, of course. I mean, as soon as possible is whenever I remember. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I got up at like, I don't even know, 11 maybe? Take 2 just to see. I'm pretty sure. I mean, it doesn't work like Adderall, where you get a sense of it working the day you take it. Like I know when Adderall is working. Like I know that shit's fucking working. I do all kinds of crazy shit when I'm on Adderall. And not always good. It's kind of a hit or miss. I mean, like back when I lived in Texas and I didn't have a whole lot. I don't know where I was at in the process of the Adderall. I think I was still getting it for free because my company's healthcare plan was at least giving us free meds And then Obamacare kicked in, and then for whatever reason, they decided to stop. And I'm not against Obamacare. I think it's still better than what we've had. But then it was going to be like $120 a month, which I couldn't afford, so I had to start skimping on it. But at one point, I took the meds. I want to say it was during the summer, so it was probably around the time that I actually started it. I don't know. I don't remember. And I went to, so like, I want to say it was a Friday. I was kind of infatuated with Natalia Kills at the time. And I found out that she was doing a show in the area in Dallas. So I went to go see her. And then when she was on stage at one point, she said she was going to do, like sighting and stuff. But then she never showed up. Apparently there was some sort of miscommunication on her, on like the venue's end with her and whatnot. And so like there were people waiting, but they never had a chance to see her because the venue somehow fucked something up. I don't remember. So, Robin, she, I hadn't heard her stuff in forever, and the fact that she was there live was interesting. Got a picture of her. I look back on that photo, and I'm like, I look like a fucking creep. But I also look like I weigh almost 100 pounds less, too. And at the time, and so much of, ever since puberty struck, I had always felt fat. I always felt overweight. Because I was always super skinny as a kid. Like, stupid skinny. And so, body dysmorphia aside and all that, I was also in the process of losing weight, because I think, like, when I first started the Adderall, I'm sure response. So, I think I lost like 20 pounds in a month. So that was good, at least for my self-esteem. I wasn't eating nearly as much. I was being creative. I was being driven through that creativity. I had a stable job, so I could think about, and I had a job in which I could think about shit all day. And so I would go home, I'd get on the internet, and I'd talk to people about all sorts of shit. I was on 4chan all the time at the time. And, this was mid-2010. And, I was bummed out that I hadn't seen her, despite getting the photo. I wasn't there for Robin. I didn't I liked Robin. I listened to her stuff when I was a kid. Looking back on it, there wasn't a huge difference in time. We're talking 10 years tops. But at that point, it felt like when I was 16, it was so much different. Time is such a fucking weird ass thing, man. But, hell, 2010, I was 29, or I was going to turn 29. And that was when I got this tattoo, because I drew it when I was at work, because I was on ADD meds. And this one was actually due to Stratera, which then fucked up, sexual function. Just didn't help. But, so, I don't remember exactly what I was going to do that day. I think I was going to do some video editing or something. I think I had planned I had like set aside, it was a Saturday. So like Friday night, I went to go see her. Now, I don't know how the hell I pulled that off, because My shift ends, or at least at the time, my shift ended at 10:30. I don't know if maybe I got the day off or something. I can't remember. I think that may have been it. But disappointed. I kept thinking about it, and looking at her schedule, and she was in Houston. And it was the last day of her fucking tour on that Saturday. And after I'd taken my meds, like, I started hyperfixating on it, like hardcore. And I got it in my head at one point, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going. So I started packing my shit up. I got, like some snacks and shit with me. I took like 2 Slim Fasts, cans of Slim Fast and some power bars, just so that I had something to eat on the way there and the way back. I went and filled up my car. There was a song that she had played that I didn't know called Love Is a Suicide. And I hadn't known that song when I heard it on stage. I was singing along with the rest of the fucking thing because I had her album, and that was like the only thing I was playing for literal months. And so I had one of those little, it's not even really called, it's not even like a radio jammer, but basically you tune it to a specific radio frequency in your car, and then it sends it to that frequency, and then you listen in your car. It's like the cassette thing, but for digital. Wasn't great, but it worked. And so I put, an SD little SD card into it, plugged it into the cigarette lighter so it had power, and then, programmed it to the right channel and all that, because I used it all the time for her music and so many other things. And so I had simply just added the Love Is a Suicide song to it because that was like all I had been listening to her stuff. And I think I put Love Is a Suicide on there like twice, and so I just had it randomized. And so I was listening to that song multiple times, and just like once I was ready, I made my way to Houston. It's time to go. But here's the thing. I want to say her show started at around like maybe 5 or 6. I think I left at like 1. Just to give you an idea, I knew that it took about 4 hours to get to Houston from Dallas because I lived in my hometown all of my life at that point, save for, a few hit and misses in between. And, moving to Houston at some point because family, my stepdad's parents lived down there, and we lived down there for a couple of years and so on. But 90% or more of my life I lived in my hometown in Mesquite, and I was living there at the time as well. And I had just started putting money on, I just had this note on this Ford Focus. It's a 2008 model, I think. No. I got it in 2010. It was a 2-year-old model, I want to say. I don't remember, fuck. It may have been a 2006. It doesn't matter. What matters is that it's a relatively new car, nice fuel efficiency, good range and all that shit. Turn on the heat. And filled up the car. Once I was ready, I was like, all right, time to go. And so I got to Houston in 3.5 hours because I was driving about 80 miles an hour the entire time, which is against the law. That's speeding. But I didn't care. I wanted to see Natalia Kills. I was so focused, so hyper fixated on getting to see her one last time. I didn't care. And I was breaking the law the whole time. And I mean, I wasn't the only one, of course. There's plenty of people who were driving that fast, and I know that's not an excuse. But the nature of the drug, man, it really does do that to me sometimes. Adderall is. I mean, I still have a bottle right now. You know, it's probably about a year old or so. I don't remember when I got it. There's the date on here. Should be a date anyway. It says discard after 4/1. That's not happening. But it still smells good. Still smells like what I make. That should be enough for one. Let's dump a little bit more in there. There we go. Now I have one more serving, which I'll probably eat maybe later. I don't know. But I got down there, had to pee like a goddamn racehorse, found a place to do that, and then found a venue. Got in, and I mean, that place was fucking packed. I had a poster that I wanted her to sign, but I couldn't keep it. It was, I don't remember what it was exactly. I can't remember exactly the issue, but they had asked me if I wanted to, to have it, hang on to it or something. I can't remember if there was like a rule or some shit. I don't remember, but I kept it with me. And then I think I had her sign it. I don't remember, but I was like hesitant to, let it sit to the side. Just because I didn't want to lose it. Then I got there, sang every fucking song while she was on stage. And and one of the reasons why, backing up to the day before, I was, and why this was such a huge obsession at the time, like, I was already obsessed with her. Sexy, had a great voice, great music videos and shit. But, and I mean, it's all in my head, I'm sure, but on the Friday night show, at one point, it looked like and felt like she pointed right at me and then, did like the thing, But, like, it wasn't, I don't know. I don't remember how I took it. I think I took it as in, she really does want to fuck me. Probably not. I mean, what's the fucking likelihood of that? I mean, that's great marketing, that's great stage presence, that's great showmanship if you do it right. And, if your audience thinks you want to fuck them, and it's not just one, but like 50 of them, I mean, why not? Why not do it? Why not pantomime the fact that, hey, you're attractive, I'm gonna have sex with you. Get it in their heads. That's a good way to get some fans. I'm not denying that. And, I mean, I did exactly what one might expect someone like me to do. And who was desperate and wanted to fuck a rock star in a sense. And I was hoping a situation like that would happen again. Didn't happen. But I actually got to meet her, though. I even waited in line, and I waited to be the last person. Like, there was somebody who got in line, and I'm like, you go ahead. I wanted to be the last person in line. And I had a nice little talk with her. Found out that, she wasn't... That's where I found all the info and stuff. I even got to pick her up and shit. She's super light. She's like 5'2" or something. God, I wanted to fuck the shit out of her. Oh, man. And I felt like I had a chance, and that's the worst part about it all. Like, something in my brain said, this is gonna happen. Not this could happen, this is going to happen. It never did. I even, at one point, once getting on the highway, I followed what looked like it might have been her tour bus for a while. But I started getting tired and pulled off and went into a La Quinta and paid way too much for, because I think by the time I got out of there and everything and got on the road, it was like 2 a.m. And I think by the time I got to that point in Texas, it was like maybe, it wasn't even the right direction towards Dallas. It was more towards East Texas. Because when you kind of take certain highways to get out of Texas certain ways. And I think we're probably hot enough. Carryover cooking should do quite a bit at this point. But yeah, so when I'm in a certain headspace, and then I take Adderall. Long ass story short. Adderall definitely has a more immediate and understood impact on me, not like antidepressant meds. I wish antidepressant meds were more kind of like that magic bullet type thing. But even so, I mean, Adderall doesn't fix my ADD. It just kind of makes me a little bit more normal that day, depending on how you want to look at things. I've led a weird ass fucking life. And I'm tired. There's a post from an Imjurian, somebody from Imjur, who has terminal cancer. And I want to say it was like a week or two ago, at least. I can't remember exactly when. But they thought they were in remission, but then they found out that the cancer's gotten so bad that they're going to die from it, and there really is no way to cure it at this point. So they took photos. They're talking about how they've, moved on to a different country, especially one with better health care and better funeral services than America. And after reading the whole thing and looking at all the photos and stuff, I was like, see you later, alligator. And they responded with, after a while, crocodile. I feel like sometimes that's what I'm going to do. I don't know how I would do it. I mean, I don't have a terminal illness. But maybe I do. It's a different kind. We as a whole, as a human race, still don't understand mental disorders enough to really classify them as healthcare. Not enough. Because they're invisible. We look at behavior and we think, oh, that person's lazy, or that person doesn't care, or that person's a piece of shit, or whatever. We judge them by their actions, not their intents. But we also fail often to understand the underlying causes of problems. Yeah, if you see a bone sticking out of somebody's arm, well, we know that ain't supposed to happen, so it's obvious. We can infer very quickly something's wrong. But we look at someone's behavior and we don't infer that something's wrong. We infer that they are wrong. something about them is a character trait, not effectively, if you will, an injury. Because we see injuries as something where it's like, okay, things were fine, and now they're not. But if you grew up not fine at all, ever, you know, if you grew up without, I don't know, if you grew up without being able to see, right? And somebody doesn't know that you're blind, they might be able to infer because, you know, maybe you have a walking cane or something. You know, you have the stick. I can't remember what the actual name for it is. And the colors and stripes and everything actually have specific details for them too. Whether it's like legally blind or, you know, if it's, you know, partly full-on blindness, etc. And I never understood the reason why, like, blind people would always wear sunglasses. I kind of get it now. Especially because there's this skit that kind of pops up every now and then. It's this dude who's, like, sitting there staring. And it's usually at, like, these women. And he's just, like, what looks like to be seductively licking this ice cream cone. And then at one point he gets up and he folds out his, his cane. I want to call it a blind cane, but I don't know if that's the real name for it. And then they all, like, fucking lose their shit. And this is one older woman. She's, like, super depressed. Because, I mean, she was flirting hard with this dude. But the reason why I bring that up is because a blind person, I mean, obviously this is a skit and everything, but with a blind person, they may be making eye contact or looking somewhere that a person might otherwise find seductive or insulting or confusing or what have you, because they don't know where they're looking. You know, I don't know where I'm looking per the movements of my eyeballs. I know where I'm looking based on what I see. They may have better understanding of how their eyeballs feel inside their head and know, you know, what straight is versus askew or what have you, but you know, that's also one of the reasons why a lot of blind people, you know, straight up close their eyes. And then also, you know, there's some people whereby not having seen all their life, their eyes are very different looking, which may be uncomfortable for people around them. And so there's so many factors now that I understand why somebody would be wearing sunglasses. And so, and the reason I brought it up is like, with the sunglasses, that might be an indicator. You know, if you see somebody walking around with, you know, a stick with a red and white cane and, you know, sunglasses, it's pretty obvious they're blind, at least through enough social interaction, social cues and the like. But you see me walking down the street, you're not gonna know I have depression and anxiety and ADD and fucking PTSD and shit. You're not going to know these things. And because I'm able to articulate myself and I'm able to break down concepts and I'm able to learn and synthesize and then regurgitate information in a way that makes it sound like I understand something, you'd be like, this dude's really smart. Why the hell is he such a fuck up? Which was all of my life as a child. Hey, you're really smart. Why are you such a fuck up? That's not the exact words, but that's what it was. Because my brain's fucked. And instead of calling me a fuck up, they'd be like, this dude's really smart, but something's wrong. What's wrong with him? And the thing is like, the average person has not been trained, educated, or otherwise informed on how to quickly diagnose something like that. For better or worse, but also because we have failed at understanding this stuff. It's like we started learning psychology, for the most part, modern psychology at least, in the last 100 plus years. And what did we do with it? We started using it to fucking manipulate people, to sell shit and other crap, instead of trying to help. Yeah, there's some people who try to help, but that's not the main focal point. That's not its main use. You know, a lot of it started post-World War II and Cold War. You know, there's a lot of espionage, there's a lot of social manipulation, a lot of propaganda and the like. And we, instead of trying to make a better world through our newfound and greater understanding of applied psychology, we instead tried to fuck other people over. Or to make our pocketbooks bigger or what have you. And that set us back centuries. Oh, it hasn't been centuries yet, you say. Well, it set us back centuries. I'm no prophet, but I can see where the pattern's going. When the sheer fact that there are people out there who have all of this vast information, they have information that's literally in front of their eyes that's true, and they still deny it. And I'm not talking about stuff that can be potentially interpreted one way or another. I'm talking about little facts. Hey, so-and-so said these things. No, they didn't. No, it's on fucking video. They did this. This is recorded. This is the real thing. Oh, it's the deep state with the deep fakes. Like, and that's not helpful. When you have people who are in positions of power who they're basically gaslighting you. They're saying, look, they're abusers. They are saying, I'm the source of facts, not this wide swath that has been a source of facts for years, for decades, potentially centuries. They are the false sources of information. I am the source of information. When you have people like that who gaslight the people that laud them or whatever, applaud them, etc., even worship them, and cast so much doubt across so many people, and then rise to power, and then others do similar and also rise to power, they're chipping away at progress, which will then take longer. And that is the stuff that I'm talking about when it comes to setting us back centuries. I'm going to end with this. 2024 is my year. And I don't mean it in some celebratory light or anything of that nature. It is the year that will determine my future. I don't know about anybody else's. I'm sure it will determine many other people's futures. But 2024 is the year in which my future will effectively be set in stone. There will be two major events that will be happening in that year. One earlier in the year, and one later in the year. The earlier one will be the solar eclipse, the total solar eclipse that can be seen in the eastern United States. Ideally, I will be able to see that. I will find a way to do that. It happens like, I want to say, I can't remember the exact date. It's like April 16th. But if I want to have a place to stay to be able to see it, I need to book ahead like a year. If I am unable to see the total solar eclipse in 2024, that will be one very deciding factor. Because it will be an indicator of how things have gone for the last 2 years, and likely how they will continue. The second one will be the next presidential election. And who gets voted in will be extremely important. If Trump becomes president again somehow, despite how fucking old he is and the fact that he shouldn't even be alive now, having COVID and everything, I'm done. I'm out. If I can't get and if those two things happen, if I can't see the solar eclipse and he becomes president, I'm done with life, especially in this country. I don't know how. I will either vacate the country or I will vacate my mortal coil. Unfortunately, I'm expecting those two things. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm trying to see about getting to like Buffalo or somewhere around there. That's why I even thought of Buffalo in the past. But, and even if Trump doesn't become president, if it's one of his lackeys, one of his cronies like fucking DeSantis or fucking Carlson or some other shithead that definitely does not need to be having that kind of power, I'm done. I'm done with this country and potentially life as we see it. See you in 2025. Maybe not.